a nonprofit organization has filed a lawsuit against Grants Pass, Oregon, alleging that the city's homeless shelters are inaccessible and that many face an impossible situation for their continued survival. This legal action follows a controversial Supreme Court ruling last year that permitted municipalities nationwide to levy fines and imprisonment on individuals experiencing homelessness who sleep outdoors. The ruling placed the small Oregon city of approximately 40,000 residents at the center of a national debate regarding the homelessness crisis, transforming it into an unlikely symbol of the nation's struggle to address this complex social issue. The Supreme Court's decision, in June of the previous year, effectively ushered in a new era of criminalization of homelessness. The ruling explicitly allowed cities to prohibit sleeping outdoors and impose penalties for such actions, even in circumstances where the number of available shelter beds is insufficient to accommodate the homeless population. This legal precedent has had a significant ripple effect across the country. Following the Supreme Court's decision, over 100 jurisdictions nationwide enacted legislation prohibiting unsheltered individuals from sleeping outdoors, as reported by Oregon Public Broadcasting. California, which houses approximately 1/4 of the nation's unsheltered population, has witnessed a particularly high number of such ordinances. However, the implementation of these criminalization efforts is not confined to a specific geographical region or political affiliation. Cities and counties governed by both Republican and Democratic leaders have adopted similar measures. The lawsuit filed against Grants Pass goes beyond simply challenging the legality of the anti-camping ordinances. The core argument centers on the inaccessibility of the city's existing shelters. The nonprofit contends that the current shelter system fails to meet the needs of the homeless population, leaving many individuals with no viable alternative to sleeping outdoors. The complaint alleges that existing shelters often lack sufficient capacity, appropriate services, and adequate accommodations for individuals with diverse needs, including those with disabilities, mental health challenges, and substance abuse issues. The lawsuit highlights specific instances where individuals were denied shelter due to these limitations, leaving them with no legal recourse other than sleeping in public spaces, which is now subject to criminal penalties. The implications of this lawsuit extend far beyond the confines of Grants Pass. A successful challenge to the city's policies could have significant ramifications for municipalities across the nation that have adopted similar anti-camping ordinances in the wake of the Supreme Court ruling. The case raises fundamental questions about the ethical and legal responsibilities of cities in addressing homelessness. Critics argue that criminalizing homelessness is not only inhumane, but also ineffective, failing to address the underlying causes of homelessness and potentially exacerbating the problem by pushing individuals further into the margins of society. The lawsuit's success hinges on the court's determination of whether the city's actions constitute a violation of constitutional rights and whether the city has fulfilled its obligation to provide adequate and accessible shelter options for its homeless population. The outcome will undoubtedly shape future discussions and legal battles concerning the treatment of homeless individuals in the United States. The case underscores the ongoing tension between the desire to maintain public order and the moral imperative to protect the most vulnerable members of society. This legal challenge has ignited a national conversation about the balance between public safety, individual rights, and the ethical responsibility of cities in providing adequate resources to address the complex and persistent issue of homelessness. The arguments presented in the lawsuit will undoubtedly be closely examined by other cities facing similar challenges and will likely influence the future trajectory of homelessness policies across the country.